you know, to
Yeah.
hear these people.
So I haven't had a chance
Actually,
to
I
watch
disagree with you. I think they're tuning in to see Greg Baker. Actually,
No,
that's what I think. That's what I think.
yeah. Well, I bribed all my family, so I know of three people that watch it on YouTube from my family.
So I
Well,
have a
that's
question. I have a question. I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch the one from last week because like I said,
Tom Durr.
but how was it? Was everybody happy about it? And was it cool?
Yeah, everybody was happy about it. It's got good it's got good reviews. It's got actually it didn't have as many views as Robert Scoville. That's for sure. I mean, Scoville, we went over
Scoville was
45,000
great.
views.
Yeah, go with
that
draws
was
the crowd.
Yeah, he was great.
Even though he did get in trouble.
Yeah. Well, he didn't get in any trouble. I spoke with him, and he didn't get in any trouble, which is fortunate. But it took me 5 hours to correct it. So the original version of the live stream is different than the version that's up on YouTube. And, I had to remove everything in relationship to the arena that he was working in at the time.
Right.
So, and I got a call from them saying that once they decide that they don't want to be so secretive, they'll come on the show and talk about their hot plot speaker. So that's going to be very exciting.
Yes, that'll be cool.
Yeah. And next week we have Mark Medling coming on from Coda Speakers. I think it's next week or maybe the week after. And then I'm looking for some other guests. I'm trying to get WizzyCom to come on. I'm trying to get L-Acoustics might come on, thanks to Kenny Newman and Ken Porter. So we've got some shows planned.
Didn't we have Stage
the source thing is pretty good.
No, we already had Stage Tech. That's right.
Yeah, Stage Tech, that was really good. And and a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, one guy said to me, he said, hey, what's the link for the full show? I want to watch the whole show. He saw it from just the snippet.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, send them to YouTube. Yeah,
I did. Yeah. I follow that. We're getting a lot of likes, tons of likes, more than I've ever experienced before, which I love. Oh, and by the way, what we're speaking about, if you're looking, welcome to Thinking Out Loud with Friends. And we're just laughing along, whatever seems to be funny. Nothing serious. I'm sure somebody will talk about something serious sooner or later. Before we got here, we were talking about Cloaked, an amazing invention. If you don't know what that is. Yep, non-sponsored. The show's not sponsored. Well, it's sponsored by Jan Landy. That's about it. It seems that my audio is off.
Yeah.
Nothing I can do about it. I don't know what to do about it. I'm not plugged into anywhere. It's just straight. I just got to get another computer because the new software, I'm using an old Intel machine, which all I'm doing is running the show on. And it's not working anymore.
I liked it when you were back to your old, you had your stand-up mic, back about 100 shows ago. It was awesome.
Speaking of which, next month, we're going to be celebrating 6 months. 6 years.
Yeah.
Of doing this together, meeting every week. 6 years.
It's been great.
Wow. How the fuck did that happen? 6 years.
You never missed one.
Nope, never once. Even when I was going through the cancer treatment, I didn't miss one.
I know you were great. Unbelievable.
I remember we had, I was talking to you about that. We had one when you were in an airport somewhere in Japan, and it wasn't Tokyo.
Yeah. Was Yokohama, it wasn't Narita. I think it was Osaka.
Osaka, that's right. It was Osaka, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I planned my life around this show because I love it. I mean, I love you guys, and I love the fact that, I have the ability to use my creativity, my knowledge, my relationships with people to make this show informative and humorous. So,
Jan, I just out of curiosity this week, I went to SoundBroker.com and it still works, even though you don't officially own it anymore.
Well, it still works because I'm still involved.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
I'm still involved. I'm in training right now, and I'm still basically, I'm training these guys to take it over,
oh,
and
okay.
and basically, I'm still going to have some involvement with it as long as I want. And one of the things, like I love doing is selling big ticket items, and so I will stay selling big ticket items
Oh,
as an
good.
independent. So that's cool. I mean, these people are very nice and I want to see them do well. So I am really putting in as much effort and energy as I can to make sure that they work. And basically every morning now, by their time, 7 o'clock New York time, 6 o'clock here, I am spending my time training them on every aspect of SoundBroker.
Oh,
And
good.
so it's really cool. These people, they want to make it happen. I want to see them make it happen. And I'm looking forward to them being successful. Anyway, you know what I forgot to do is I forgot to pull up my notes here on what I wanted to talk about. Well, by the way, Greg, look at this.
But
8,000 8,000 and change,
yeah,
8,304. That's what they've done. They've taken my name off of that many places.
yeah.
I didn't
I'm
even know there
at.
was that many places to take your name off of.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
On
one
at
of the things that
10,000.
Cloak's going to be doing, wow, I'm catching up to you, buddy.
Yep.
And I don't get very many spam calls. And my thing is emails. I get hundreds of those.
Well,
Well,
this will this
it will
you
stop.
this will help you. Now, one of the things that there is an app called SaneBox, and SaneBox will train your emails to do whatever you want them to do. It's a very good service. I think it's about $100 a year as well. I've been using it for a while, and I like it. But
One I use is called Spam Drain. It's an interstitial server that basically sits there, looks at the spam doesn't hit your mailbox. It sits in their mail servers, and then you train their AI to go ahead and either block this, or yes, this is regular mail, or this is a newsletter that I kind of want to get, but make it low priority. And it doesn't take out the spam that's in your mailbox already. It doesn't touch your devices. It's that's probably what Jan's service does. Mine just spam drain. It's $80 a year, and it just sits out there, and you can have up to 10 email addresses. So,
But the question does it send him to junk?
no, it holds them up there.
What's that?
So, in other words, if I get an email from iamspam.com, whatever, trying to sell me, or here's an email. I'm a member of the royal family of Nigeria, and I have a business opportunity for you. Okay, it holds them up there in that server, and it will hold them in their server for a year, and then it will get rid of them. So you have a year to go through. You have an interface, and you go through and say, "Oh, that's not spam. I want that," and so then it remembers it from now on. So, but it catches. Right now, I'm up to. I started it about a month ago, and I have 106,000 pieces of mail that it's held. So it's great.
So they don't go to your junk.
They don't even hit my mailbox. In other words, when it sends it to my Google address, or when it sends it to my Yahoo address, and when it sends it to my Outlook address, or when it sends it to my drewkulgoods.com address,
Right.
it connects to those mail servers, and it grabs it first, and then it will bring it down to the appropriate mailbox. So it sits in the middle.
See, with me, I get it just goes to junk.
Yeah.
Almost all of it. I don't get that many that make it through. And then I just look at my junk. I do junk by who it's from. So,
Right.
And then I just go through it and look for people I know and dump it.
Right.
Well, I think that's the best way to do it for you, because I mean, when you have an email like mine that you use for business as well, you get a lot of email from different people, and like the one that I'm using, SaneBox.
Yeah.
It's if you get a lot of email, then SaneBox helps you maintain your sanity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everybody's uses their mail differently. Everybody has. I rarely get business emails now, thank God. Everybody and their brother wanted to sell my company something, and it was difficult to manage, but now it is much better. But at any rate, I would check both of those out. Whatever, everything's everybody does it different, and everybody, what works for one may not work for another person,
Except for Cloak. Cloak will work for everybody. I'm telling you. I just got, they sent me an email, right? That in July, they removed 1,100 home addresses removed. 135 phone numbers were removed in July. 120 email addresses were removed from, so it really cuts.
You get a thing like that.
Wow, look at you. They're green. Go, boy, go.
Yeah. That green is, that's addresses.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, man, I hope they stay with it, and don't get bought out by a big company who would dilute it and screw it up. Like, so many companies, get bought just for market advantage by another company.
Yeah. I mean, there's a company called Bending Spoons. Are you familiar with Bending Spoons?
No.
Okay. But anybody use AOL?
Yeah.
Not AOL.
Bending Spoons bought AOL.
Let's see. Uri Geller was Bending Spoons.
Anybody use Evernote? Bending Spoons bought Evernote. And what they do is they buy these companies, they consolidate them on their computer servers, they eliminate the overhead, and they keep it running, and they make a profit. And what they're really doing, of course, is where they make their profit is selling the data that they bought from these other companies, and they're out of Italy, and they just bought Working Table. I just read that which is basically a database company that they bought. And so they buy all these companies. They've got maybe 15, 20 companies right now you can go, and they're going on the stock market if they're not already on the market. And I thought about buying them, but I haven't bought them yet. But, the reality of the cloaked aspect is that they are not making a profit as of yet. They're getting investors to dump tons of money into them, and they just had, I think, their third or fourth round of funding, and
it's a good product.
Billions of dollars.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't get screwed up. I mean, it's an excellent product, and because I was getting hammered, especially. And especially if you're, if you're of Medicare age, the phone calls start coming, right as soon as you see pumpkin spice in the stores, that's when the phones start coming.
Oh God, yeah. And what an interesting thing about that is that they're really not allowed to talk to you. You have to sign a waiver to allow them to talk to you. Even my own insurance agent, who I've been with for 20 years, every year when we discuss my Medicare program, I have to sign a disclosure or a waiver from him that he has the ability to talk to me about it, which is pretty cool. But spammers are everywhere. I just read an article. Spammers are impersonating Spotify. to steal your credit card information. I mean, that's insane that they're that sophisticated right now.
Yeah, or even if you buy stuff online, I bought, I don't know, it was a T-shirt or something. Just it was a fun T-shirt for a relative, and sure as shooting, 2 months later, a $50 charge from them shows up.
Yeah,
and then another one, and it's called a Marrow Home. To anybody out there, if you get a Marrow Home on your credit card, call your bank, call your credit card company, and have it taken off. It's a known scam company, and
yeah.
get a new credit card number. That's what
I mean,
that's what
it is just so profitable for spammers. I mean, you know, all they got to do is get one sucker, and it makes their day, you know, or their week, their month, whatever. Americans lost more than $8.6 billion to online investment fraud last year. 8.6. That doesn't. I mean, that's insane amount of money.
That's online investments, but I think it's even more in just elderly fraud. You know, hey,
Yeah.
this is I'm calling you about this is Microsoft. Hello, this is Microsoft. I'm calling about a problem with your computer. You know.
Yep, that's right. Did you see The Beekeeper, the movie The Beekeeper with Jason Statham?
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically, you know, sums it all up in a nutshell of how these people work and how they have no respect for anyone at all. I saw a special where a lot of these companies are in places where they have imprisoned people, you know, that they've lured them away from their own country.
Myanmar, yeah.
Yeah. And they're in imprisonment camp, and if they don't get so many scams a week, you know, they beat them, or they burn their families' homes or shit like that, you know, whatever. But
well,
anyway,
it's funny though. There's a story about a personal story about that. My elder sister, she got one of those phone calls, and you know, she hardly uses a computer, but she has a computer, and the guy was saying, "Well, I'm calling about a problem with your Windows," and she said, "No, my Windows are fine." She said, "No, click on it." You know, so with the phone, she goes over and knocks on the window. You know, she says, "I can see out it fine." No, ma'am, your Microsoft Windows. And she just led him on and just frustrated the hell out of the guy. "Oh no, I don't have Microsoft Windows. I have Anderson Windows." You know?
Oh, that's funny.
You know?
Well, if she had cloak, she'd have nothing to do. That's all I can say.
I have a friend who lives in the namesake town, so I could only say that I have Pella Windows.
Yeah.
Because I actually have a friend of mine that lives in Pella, Iowa.
Yeah,
I got to bail out early today, guys, because I have.
That's all right. We're not going to stay on long today.
I have the plumber coming over, so I'm going to have to bail. But I will.
That's that's AI proof. Plumbing is AI proof right now.
There you go. Hey, listen to Mike Rowe. He's been all over this shit for a long time.
Yeah.
But I'm out of jury duty, so I'll be back on a regular.
Yeah, that jury duty story was really fascinating. You know, because I really don't know anybody that has been on jury duty. Everybody I know tries to get out of it.
Well, yeah. What's interesting though, in Florida, once you hit 65, you're exempt.
Yeah,
I will probably either get I'll go to my primary and get a medical exemption, because now I'm exempt for 2 years, so
right.
I don't have to deal.
I
with
need
it.
to look into
Over
that.
70, you're exempt. Period.
Yeah.
So that is like that for California too, David?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's why they haven't gotten.
I don't know what the law is. I went ahead and did it. And
well, they'll still send you the notice. You'll still get the notice.
It was
because you're registered from the voting. You know, if you're registered to vote, you'll get the notice. You know, or you have a driver's license, you'll get the notice. But you know, then you just have to call them or send them an email saying, "Hey, I'm over the age and I can't make it." You know,
send the notice. You don't even have to call.
And we're taking a creepy guy off the street. So,
well, there you go.
I'll tell you, I remember my jury duty experience. I went down there, right? And So just before I had gone there, about a week prior, I did a job with the Paris Hotel. Okay. And so it was a big job too. And then so now I'm sitting in jury duty, and the judge says, "Listen, I know none of you guys want to be here, but you have to be here. This is your civic responsibility. And unless you're dead, you're going to be here for this jury duty. But I have to go around the room to see who thinks that they could be exempt." So who thinks they could be exempt? And everybody raised their hand. They said, "First guy, all right, what is it?" He says, "Well, I've got my finals next week." "All right, well, you'll be out of here by next week. Sit down." Then another guy stands up and says, "Well, I run a small business, and my business is completely dependent on me." He says, "That's too bad. Sit down," and everybody, I says, "I've got non-refundable airline tickets to Paris." And the judge says, "All right, I'll tell you what, prove it, prove it, and I'll exempt you, And so now I stand up and I said, "Your Honor, I don't know if this is going to affect me, but I believe that, I just did a job." Oh, I forgot to tell you, the case was about Bally's. An employee was suing Bally's for workman's comp. That's what it was. And so I said, "Your Honor, I just did a job with the Paris Hotel, and I don't know if I'm going to be." And the judge says to me, "What the hell does that have to do with anything? Sit down." And and of course the attorney stood up. "Your Honor, it does have something to do. Bally's owns the Paris. Oh, I didn't know that. All right. What, do you want him or not?" And the lawyers talked to each other for seconds. "Now let him go. Let him go."
You got out. Good for you. All right.
Yeah.
I'll see you
All
guys
right.
next time.
Take care,
Thank
Wayne.
you.
Take care, Wayne.
I'm going to
Bye,
tell
buddy.
you my story.
Yeah.
Wayne,
See it.
you can watch it on video. But
Okay.
I have a good.
Bye, Wayne. Have a great week.
I have a good jury duty story. So I finally had to go after a whole bunch of times of postponing it. And I'm sitting there and they picked me. And it turns out the trial has something to do, because it was a while ago, about a guy who was illegal here working as a driver for something. And I raised he says, and I said, "I don't know if this counts because I'm fine staying here. But I really feel that people who are taking jobs away from Americans need to be
Out
addressed."
of here.
And he let me go.
Yeah.
The judges let me go. But here's the best one. My mother, who got called for jury duty, little old Jewish lady, goes, "Your Honor, I have diarrhea."
Did they hand her a plastic bag?
She's so smart.
Oh my
Got out
goodness.
of it.
Yeah, well, a lot of people have diarrhea these days, from what I hear,
Explosive.
which is crazy.
Anyway,
Speaking of explosive, you know what people are spending right now on sports betting online right now? It's up to $167 billion, man.
Oh my God.
Is that
mostly
insane?
young.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they're spending on sports betting. It's almost amazing. But then I guess that's why they could afford to pay LeBron James $8 million for 1 year playing at the 76ers. That's pretty impressive to make that kind of money.
I don't follow that much NBA basketball until the finals.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm not that big of a fan. I'm sorry, NBA people out there.
Hey, I'm a championship fan also. I want to see championships. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't watch anything until it's the final few games.
Right.
Football, NFL football is different. I think this year, I was pleasantly surprised with the World Cup, even though I watched some of the games of, people that wouldn't make it. But once it got down to the semifinals and the finals,
They were the best teams.
yeah. But, yeah, it just didn't.
They were the top 4 seeds. So
Yeah.
it was a good game.
Yeah. but I was pleasantly surprised. I thought I wasn't going to like it, because
Well, my TiVo taped every game, so if it was an interesting game, I fast forward until I saw the score change, then I go back and watch the goal,
oh
and
yeah,
fast forward again until the score changed. So I get to see a
there
whole
you
game
go.
in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I wouldn't go live though at those prices. Holy crap! I'd have to take a mortgage out. So
Yeah. Well, you don't have to take out a mortgage if you want, but you could go to Rock Camp. Are you guys following what's going on with Rock Camp? They now have all sorts of different rock camps. They now just introduced a rock camp for women where they got the people from the Go-Go's, the B-52s, the Runaways, and now they've got one with one in New York, and they got one in Seattle, and they got one. I mean,
yeah.
they must be really doing well. A lot of people must want to play with these people.
Well, it's a side hustle for musicians who sold their catalogs.
Yeah.
So
For whatever reason, I can't pull up go to rockcamp.com and you can check it out. That's I think that's pretty cool, man, that they're doing
I
that.
went to Hard Rocks camp. So
Belinda Carlisle's going to be there if you want to meet her. There you go. Lisa Loeb. They're doing a rock camp. Anyway,
yep.
I don't have any much more things to say, I don't think. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. You guys have anything you want to say?
Nope. I'm just trying to make it through August here. It's just scorching in Florida. And
What's the humidity up to there?
let me see. At my house, it's 77% humidity and it's 90 degrees.
Wow. In your house?
Not in my house, outside. I got a weather station outside my house, Jan. Jesus.
Oh, okay. Very good. So you know exactly what's going on.
It was
up there.
104 here today.
It's 77 and 48. I like my house. 77 degrees is my
Yeah, it's 72% of humidity here in this room that I'm in right now.
It's 32% here.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's what it is right now. And outside, it's 83? Unbelievable.
Well, you're in monsoon season, though, aren't you?
Yes, it is definitely rainy season here. It was raining most of the night. It looks like it's raining right now. It's really overcast, clouds in the sky. I take it back. It is raining here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the rainy season. But I love it here. I have to tell you, one of my friends just was diagnosed with a problem. Well, anyway, I used to say like this, how's everything? I said, well, there's no blood in my pee, so I'm all right. But he can't say the same thing. And he had some blood in his urine, goes to get a CTA. Next thing you know, he's got a lesion. Next thing you know, it's so big that they don't even want to take a biopsy. They just want to get it cut out immediately. And, it's just like from one day, everything going well, perfect, to another day. Now he's got to make some life-making decisions, which is crazy,
Yeah.
And it happens to all of us. It happened to me when I had the prostate cancer. So everybody take care of yourselves. That's all I can say. Take care of yourselves.
Did the plumber cancel?
No, he came.
Oh.
So what was happening in our guest bathroom, my wife and I use the restroom because it's convenient, but we never used the tub. So apparently the water had evaporated out of the pee trap just enough that then you hear it gurgling, but it's gurgling like in the wall behind the toilet with the tub right next to it. So he came and he listened to it and he goes, oh, turns the water on in the tub for 3 seconds, turns it off and flushes the toilet again. Problem solved.
$800, please. $800.
He didn't charge us. He's a very nice guy. He's around the corner.
Oh, you're very lucky.
He had done a water heater for us, and he's done work for our daughter at our recommendation. So he's a good guy.
That's the best type of tradesperson you can have in your life.
Absolutely.
So I Googled the jury duty in California thing, and I posted what it said in the chat. It basically says you don't have to do it, but you have to write to them to explain to them why, but you don't need a doctor's note.
Right. You fill out your own doctor's note, basically.
Right. But you just can't blow them off, which
No.
I've
Yeah,
been
it looks
doing
like you have to be
I've
70.
been blowing them off for 30 years.
Well, you got to make sure there's no bench warrant out for yourself.
I know, that's kind of interesting.
Well, that's
You'll
why.
find out the next time you try to go to Korea.
Yeah. Well, that's why Bruce has the Starship Never Prize in the background, because he doesn't want us to see the bars.
What's going to Korea got to do with it? I go to Korea all the time.
You gotta go. Yeah, you gotta go through
Immigration.
yeah. You gotta go through immigration.
I've never had a problem with it.
Well,
There's no
yeah, but
bench
if you
warrant.
have a bench warrant, they'll catch you.
Yeah, but now they're listening to you right now. They know who you are, you know?
Yeah, that's it.
they think
And
but
you
they
put
think
your
you're in
full name,
space.
Bruce.
They look out your window, they say, "Oh, he's in space. He's on a spaceship. So he can't be we can't find him to issue a warrant."
He's excused.
Quote won't save you now, Bruce.
You know. Hey Kenny,
well, you know,
how you doing?
the sucky part here is hey Kenny, the sucky part here is, when you sign up or whatever, you have to call in every morning to find, or call in every day to find out if you're supposed to go in the next day.
Yeah, but that's for a week. That's all.
Yeah, but if you got a gig to go to, you're gonna blow off the gig and not even do the time at the jury. It's just the whole thing is so dumb.
Well,
Fortunately for you, you're overage, so you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
at
with
this
us,
point,
they give you a number to call. Like we were supposed to report on a Monday, so I said call Friday after 5. Well, it was really funny, is because Wednesday or Thursday before we were supposed to, they sent an email and said, "Don't even bother to call. You're coming."
Yeah.
And then once we got there and once we got selected, then they actually gave us a fairly accurate schedule. Because there was like a day where the court was doing other things, so we knew we weren't going that day, and that held. And we were actually scheduled. The original schedule had us going through tomorrow, but fortunately, it wrapped up and we were done yesterday.
I think you call in every day, and if they don't need you on Wednesday, you're excused for the rest of the week. I think that's how it works.
With us in Arizona, it's just call one time and either show up or don't.
Oh, with Nevada, I remember you could also call up and say, "Hey, the time that you want me for jury is not convenient for me. I'm doing something. Can you give me an extension for when I have to appear?" And they'll do that as well for you.
You get 2 extensions, and then then you got to come.
Yeah. Have you guys watched The Lincoln Lawyer? Not the one with Matthew McConaughey, but the TV series?
No.
They have one of the episodes, one season. They're dealing with the jury pool, which is pretty cool. It's a very good. I love that show. By the way, The Lincoln Lawyer.
Heated?
I don't know if it's still on. What
is it? Heated?
Well, his car is hot. Yes.
Yeah,
he's got a hot car.
Heated pool.
Oh, the jury pool, heated pool. That'll make a clip. All right, there you go.
Speaking of jury duty, have you seen the thing on Amazon called Jury Duty? Have you seen?
No, what is it?
Oh, you got to watch that. It's crazy. It's there's 2 different episodes, 2 different versions of it, multiple episodes in each. And it's, if I recall correctly, it's everybody on the show is an actor except for one person. And that one person is not in on the gag, and that's amazing. It's freaking amazing what they pulled off.
Well, see, Kenny, the reason this all got started, I just finished yesterday of 3 weeks of jury duty on a trial.
Wow, you actually served on a jury?
Yes, I actually served on a jury.
Wow, good. I mean, I wish I could. So many times I've been called for jury duty, and I never actually get to the trial.
Yeah,
well, it's your civic duty.
Got to the trial, and we actually convicted a gentleman of through a bunch of video evidence and whatnot of sexual exploitation of a minor.
Wow, how about that?
And
you're not supposed
convicted
to
on like 17 of 19 counts, and he's going to go.
By the way, so during the case you can't talk about it, but after the case you get to say whatever you want, right? But you just don't want to.
Yes, in fact, the judge says now that you're done. I don't know how much he wants to talk about the actual case, but it's, it will become public record.
Right.
He says it would be nice if you would talk to people that you know and let them know how your experience was. Mm-hmm. And, kind of pump up your civic.
Give us a Yelp review, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they actually give me a questionnaire, and I actually thought that this judge did a very good job, very professional. The assistants, because like you can't just wander around. They have to like bring you in to the area. They have to escort you out of the area. They won't even let you walk out the jury room to the restroom without them
Really?
being aware. Oh yeah,
Wow.
And you have to wear a tag, right? Jury, you ever wear a tag?
they give us a little lanyard that says we're members
Did you
of the
live?
jury.
Did you live at the courthouse for 3 weeks then, or when
No,
are
I
you
didn't
allowed to
live
go
at the
home?
courthouse. We actually had pretty good hours. We would report at 10:15, and we were done by usually 4:30.
Oh, I've got a question for you. Do they actually tell you not to look at the news?
Part of the admonition is you cannot look at the news. You cannot do any independent research. You cannot talk to anybody about the case, including your significant other, and you can't drive by
The scene?
the scene or anything. You can't do anything, and it and if you get caught doing that, there are repercussions.
Hey,
And
how about the deliberation? How did that all work out?
Yeah, how did that go?
it was interesting because when we get to that phase, there was 12 of us left, and we basically selected a gal that is a director of a company anyways. She volunteered to be the foreperson. And so then we went through each individual count, and they brought us a computer and a thumb drive that had the video files for us to look at. And so we went through and looked at each piece of evidence for each count. And then we had a discussion about that. And then a lot of this was fairly cut and dried. And then we voted on each count. So like I said, on 2 counts where there were videos that were inappropriate, but when they had extracted the data off the guy's phone, they couldn't tell when they arrived and how they got there. And so there was no real chain of anything. And so on those 2 counts, we said, okay, we can't, beyond a reasonable doubt, say that he knowingly had these things or sent them or anything, because there was no digital footprint for that. So those 2 counts, we voted not guilty. The other ones, there was clear video evidence that it was on his phone, and over 2 extractions a year apart of his phone. So it was pretty straight ahead. And
How did he get caught? That's what I want to know. How did he get caught?
Well, it was very interesting. Apparently in 2023, he went to Mexico with some friends, and when he was coming back, and I'm assuming that he is either not a U.S. citizen or because he's of Arabic descent or whatever, he was stopped and questioned and voluntarily relinquished his phone at the border. And then the FBI had it, and the FBI took almost about a year before they kind of determined that there was inappropriate material. And so then they forwarded it to the Peoria, Arizona Police Department, because that's where the guy lives. So it was their jurisdiction. So then they extracted the phone again a year later, and it takes some amount of time. And so a lot of that inappropriate material was evident in both times they extracted the data off the phone a year apart. And there's certain softwares that they use to take the data off and how they
Wayne,
track
so
it.
you mean to tell me they confiscated the guy's phone? And so he had no telephone? Or they gave it back to him?
The FBI eventually gave it back to him, but I think they alerted Peoria, and then when Peoria started their investigation, they confiscated the phone again.
So in other words, they did take his phone for a period of time. They didn't just plug in a plug and extract, make a copy of the phone.
No, they had it for some period of time, and then he may have gotten it back, and then it was taken again.
Wow.
Because all this took, like initiated in July of 2023. So you're talking 3 years for it to go through the steps of having the FBI send up a flag, have Peoria investigate it, extract it again, then have him, arrested, charged, and then get to trial. So,
well, it's
it
very
took a while.
interesting.
For you, Wayne.
Huh?
So I got a question for you. Tell me
Yeah.
about the demographics of the jury. You got 11 other people plus an alternate. What age group were they?
There was 16 that sat through the entire trial. It wasn't until we
16,
got
not just 13?
no.
No, it's only
16.
12, Kenny.
Well,
it's
But there's
12
16.
normally.
Hang
We
Why
have
on.
16?
alternates.
I'll explain.
Yeah.
So 16 of us got picked and sat through the entire trial. At the point that we were getting instructed to go deliberate, they randomly out of a hat drew 4 numbers, and those 4 were excused and became alternates in case something would have happened within a deliberation period of time. So 12 of us were left to deliberate and go through that. And it was released to us, what's today, Wednesday? So Monday afternoon, we deliberated for 2 hours Monday afternoon, and then we were in for probably 3 hours Tuesday morning to go through the 19 charges that we had to deal with, because you have to go through each individually. You can't just say, oh, he's guilty of everything. You have to render for each charge. And so then we, around noon on Tuesday, said we're done. And then they sent us to lunch, and then we came back, and we were done by 2 o'clock.
Did they pay for your lunch?
They don't pay for lunch, but they do give you $12 a day, and they do give you mileage based on your zip code for the days that you
$12
spend.
a day.
What
That's pretty
what
funny.
was the range of ages of the people, and what type of people, like in the
I
jury?
would say with the 16, our youngest was a guy who was 24, and he actually became one of the alternates. I was probably the oldest. I would say there was a couple of people probably in their 40s, but there was a good chunk of the pool that was men and women probably in their, I would say, between 50 and 65.
And when it came to the jury selection process, that's what I was involved in. I was there for a couple days in the jury selection process, and the lawyer and the judge ask each prospective juror questions.
So what they did was that the initial pool was probably 70 people,
right?
And everybody had filled out an online questionnaire prior to showing up. And then I would say probably 15 or 20 of us, of which I was one, were asked to go in one at a time over the couple of days and answer a few other questions, are you impartial, blah, blah, whatever.
Right.
I don't remember
Do you
the
have a
specific
reason why
question.
you could you couldn't be impartial to this, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They didn't
And,
pick you, Ken, because of your strong bias with Mike Peak.
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically, I wore that shirt. Everybody's guilty, no matter what. And that was the T-shirt I was wearing at the time.
Yeah.
Everyone's guilty. Everyone's guilty of something.
My shirt would say "Kill them all and let God sort them out."
Well, it was interesting because one of the questions they had asked me, because I had put something in. There are a couple of questions you can add a comment, and I'd added some little comment, and they asked me about that, and I don't remember the specifics, so I don't want to quote it out of school, but I basically said, I hate these kind of questionnaires because so many of the questions leave no room for nuance, and they're, kind of ridiculous. And I I thought that was going to get me kicked out, but apparently it got me kicked in.
It had the opposite effect, huh? Did anybody get out of jury duty because they had some responsibilities at home, like somebody to take care of or something?
Absolutely. Within this initial pool of 70, there were several people that were released for various reasons. I have kids that I can't deal with, or whatever. I have work that I can't get out of, or I'm the sole.
Well, they didn't have my judge, that's for sure. Sit down.
Yeah, really. Where I went for that, they were tough about that. It had to be really definite that they couldn't survive without you, kind of thing, And some people were told to stick around, even though they said they had responsibilities at home. It was
there might have been that. I don't think it was. Certainly, nobody was let loose for some capricious, stupid reaon.
Yeah, I think Denny has a question. I don't believe they have jury pools up in Canada. They just let everybody go. That's it. It's easy. No, they do have jury pools.
It's probably way better than this.
You just have to say you're sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry. Hey,
there's no crime.
Wayne, actually, I was chosen for jury duty, but we'll talk about that maybe later. Wayne, I'm just curious about the questionnaire. Like, many questions, and would you mind share? Can you share some of those questions were about?
I didn't memorize them. I was just trying to get through it, but it was general. Can you be impartial?
Yes.
Like, think of any government questionnaire that's.
I mean, was the questionnaire specific to this particular case? Like, do you have any children, for example?
I don't think that there was much about that was specific to the case.
All right. So they didn't ask you a question like, do you have a kiddie porn collection? That's it. They didn't ask you that.
Ask me that. Thank God. No, just
so okay. Wayne, I came in late, but where was this?
Downtown Phoenix and Phoenix Superior Court.
Very good. Yeah. Well, thanks for serving on the jury. That was awesome.
Well, and when I say kitty, I mean meow, meow. Those kind of kitties.
That's right.
Meow,
I'm very
meow.
proud. I have a certificate of appreciation for my service.
That's like a participation trophy.
Okay, I got another question for you in regards to the process when you were deliberating. How did you vote? Did you vote by pieces of paper? How did the voting take place? Could people tell?
Just basically either spoke up or just raised our hands if we felt it was all one way or the other.
Okay.
And then if somebody, like there was several counts where initially, somebody might have some skepticism. Is this really beyond a reasonable doubt for this charge? Given the evidence. And so we would have a discussion about it. And we would talk about it, and because it's based on beyond a reasonable doubt, but you're allowed as a human being to use your experience and what passes the smell test, basically, in that. So we did that, and I thought we had reasonable discussions. And like I said, out of the 19 counts, I think it was, 2 of them we didn't feel even though the images that were the evidence in those 2 counts were disgusting, we didn't feel, because there was no digital data to back up where they had come from or how and if they'd been transmitted. We just didn't feel that we could give a guilty verdict on those 2 counts.
So Wayne, was this guy free like for 2 years or 3 years or something?
They don't really say. I believe that he was out on, some bail or bond. And
how interesting. The system works pretty slowly, huh?
Probably had to put up his house as collateral for his bond, or I don't know. I'm just speculating.
Wow.
Was he wearing a suit during the trial?
Most days.
Okay.
I'll give the guy credit, considering the charges and considering what the sentencing's not till September sometime. So I would assume, but what was I going to say? I was surprised that during all that, and considering the ramifications of guilty, to that many counts, that the guy was pretty stoic throughout.
Well, he was probably advised to be that way, you know, I would
Oh,
guess.
I'm sure he was. And he did not testify in his own defense, which is their right, and there's very clear instructions as to that. It was funny because the prosecution had two witnesses. They had the lead detective for Peoria, and they have this 3-person unit that deals with finding and disseminating information from electronic devices, right? And so the lead detective was one witness, and then the other guy from that unit that actually did some of the extraction work was the other witness. The defense had one witness, which was the wife, who I was kind of surprised, but they told us that the wife had actually had done a plea deal to a felony, although they didn't specify the charges. I'm sure it has to do with, because some of the videos were sent between the two of them, so I'm sure it's the same thing. So the wife was already guilty, and she was a horrible witness. It changed the scope of her story, and she was just bad.
So meanwhile, this guy has his phone taken, all the files are taken off. 3 years later, he doesn't think to take off the bad files, and they're still there. Sounds like this guy deserves what he got.
Yeah, 2 years later.
Just out of stupidity.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Seems like the guy was a bit of an idiot.
I guess that he didn't think he did anything wrong. That's the whole thing, David. He didn't think he did anything wrong.
Yeah. And, you know, one of the things we tried to consider is whether, and I don't think it, based on our understanding of the laws as they were explained to us in this, you know, but certainly when you're dealing with somebody who's Arabic, so there was translators, so some of the stuff was slow because it was, even though the guy and his wife, obviously, based on video of their interviews when they were detained, spoke some degree of English, right? They were answering questions from the detective in English, but there was a translator there. But most of the stuff was translated in court, and so he's trying to say, well, you know, is there any cultural norm for any of this kind of stuff? And that doesn't really matter because we're in the United States. So
that's right. Now, do you feel that he got a jury of his peers?
I think so. I mean, we're all residents of Maricopa County. Obviously, we seated a jury of 16 out of a pool of 70, 75 people, whatever it was. I don't know, you know, they wouldn't tell us specifically, but I don't know if any of the perspectives were disqualified specifically by the prosecution or the defense. But I would assume that that would be the case, that somebody answered the question in the way they felt, one side or the other felt that they weren't beneficial to their cause. So it was a duly seated jury in a, you know, superior courtroom in Maricopa County. So
now, what about the lawyer situation? I'm curious to know, was the lawyer, did he have a public defender? Did he have his own counsel? Was there a prosecutor? How many people, you know?
So there was 2 lawyers that sat at the prosecution table, 2 women. One of them was obviously the lead. On the defense side, there was 1 man and 1 woman. And initially I thought the man was the lead, but I'm not, as it came to the end, the woman gave the closing, so maybe she was the lead.
So there was a closing statement and an opening statement.
Yes.
So
the other thing I'm going to say is they did not indicate to us one way or another whether they were public defenders or not. So I don't,
you don't know.
So, but I don't know.
Wayne, how was the catering?
Wayne, the cafeteria in the Superior Court building was actually not amazing, but it wasn't awful. I mean, they made a decent chicken salad sandwich.
So, Wayne, from your view after the fact now, do you feel that this guy might have thought what he did was okay in the beginning. Maybe he found out that it wasn't. But, you know, there's this Arabic thing going on here. So we all know the history of some of these people. You know, do you get the impression that he thought what he did was okay, at least in the beginning?
I can't speak for his state of mind, but they certainly tried to portray in parts of their argument that taking pictures of your child's genitals was normal.
That's just, I can't even
for
believe
either
that
for either memory or
yeah,
you know, kids becoming a man or
I
whatever.
just want to show you this, son. This is what you look like when you were a baby, you know?
Yeah, really.
And look at you now.
You know, but I mean, hey, when my son was born, my first wife went back to work after 3 months. And so up until he was 3.5 years old, when we got divorced, I was the primary daytime caregiver. And, you know, I gave him baths and I changed diapers and I did all that shit. But
didn't take pictures
I
of him
would have
dancing
never.
around.
Well, no, I mean, we have a picture of our kid when he was a little baby in a little, it's like a little,
A wrapping
bassinet.
thing.
it's like a thing you put him in so you can bathe him in the sink.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a picture of him that we have of him sitting in the sink. But these
But it
videos,
wasn't a video.
but these videos were taken over several months, and they're hyper focused on the kid's genitals. So that's just like beyond the pale. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's,
No, it's not cool any way you look at it. You know, it doesn't
Right, I
matter
agree.
what, you know,
Yeah.
it's just like, it's basically, you know, it seems to me that it's beyond the pale. It's just beyond
Right.
the scope of it. And he's going to,
Right.
you know, it's interesting to me that he, you know, that when, I guess there's no way that he could have left or knowing that he's going to be going to jail for so long, where he could have escaped it. He could have escaped the jurisdiction of the law enforcement.
Right. And the other, you know, so I mean, that was definitely something that we thought about was like if these videos, there's like 2 segments, right? Most of them were involved his son, who was 3 at the time. If those videos were only between him and his wife, that's one thing, right? But they admitted that they sent it to the mother-in-law, and there was also a woman in Iraq that he was sharing these videos with via the WhatsApp app. And at that point, you know, and apparently we didn't see in evidence, but apparently there was sexual undertones in a lot of the messaging between him and this gal in Iraq. And then there were a smaller portion of the videos that were not his son and not his kid at all, that were children that were really out there. And
well, look, 12 people found him guilty. 12
Yes.
people, and nobody, you know, there was no discretion or discrepancy between these people. Everybody agreed in that room, and you had
Yes.
people from 24 to 70 in the room with all different backgrounds, and everybody found the guy guilty. So
Yeah,
there it is.
was
Guilty
any of the people in the jury iffy at first, or did everybody just hands down, this fucker's guilty? The end.
as we worked through the counts, there were several of the counts where it was guilty right off the bat, right? There's
Everybody.
no question.
Yeah.
You know, but when you have to, you know, there's things like you have to be knowingly or possessing or, you know, intentional or whatever, you know, the definitions, and I hate misquoting legal definitions, so I won't. But there were several counts, particularly as we went further on, where we had discussions about it and said, is there a reasonable doubt here? Do we give credence to what the defense closing arguments or their testimony was? So we did have some, they weren't huge hour-long discussions on any particular count because it was pretty obvious, but we did have discussions on many of the counts. And like I said, there were 2 counts that involved videos of not his kids, but somewhere else where There was no way to prove how it had gotten to the phone or how it had been transmitted. They just could not retrieve the metadata or whatever on a couple of those. So we said, under these circumstances, the video is disgusting, but we can't find him guilty on those two particular counts. So we found him not guilty on two of the counts.
Wow. Denny has a question.
So Wayne, when it came to the discussion about one way or the other, like, did you have one of your 12 people that was the lead to sort of
Mediating.
Yeah, sort of, mediate the conversation between everybody?
I would say that we were fairly free and open in our conversations. We weren't, the foreperson was not guiding. The gal that we elected to be the foreperson was writing down the decisions, because they have forms that you have to sign for each count. And in exploitation of a minor, there's also a subsection on each count where do you think beyond a reasonable doubt that the child is under 15 or over. Well, all the ones of his son, it was obvious he was 3 years old. Everybody testified as to what year he was born and what year the evidence was created and collected and whatnot. So that was pretty straight ahead. But no, the discussions were pretty free and open, and everybody had their chance to say what they thought, and then we would, move on from there.
Okay, I have a question for you. Okay, then again, no, go.
Well, actually, no, it was not a question. I just wanted to, because of the subject matter, I just want to point out that twice in my life, I came across, I didn't come across, but I discovered that a coworker did some things like this. Okay, so one, which I've known, I mixed sound for his band, and he became my PA tech on a tour, and blah blah blah. He was a hockey coach, and he obviously did something wrong, so he ends up in prison. But the weird thing about that is, I would have never guessed that in the 12, 15 years that I worked with him. And then another time, somebody else that I know, that I've known for probably 20 years, I find out that the Canadian version of the FBI shows up at his door and sees his computer laptop, and he ends up in jail as well. So my point about all this is, like, in this case, okay, somebody of a different ethnicity, that's one thing, but like twice, people that I know, I thought I knew intimately, like, were this type of people. Like, when I say this type of people, I'm not, I don't know how else to say this, but twice I happen to know people that ended up in jail for doing this type of stuff. And it's like, it just blew me away how they were able to live their lives without any of us in the circle or in their circle on grasping that this was going on. That's kind of blew my mind,
Well, there's a lot of people that are living that way, Danny.
Anyway.
A lot of people are living like that. They called it, and I'm not talking about, people that are out there committing crimes, but there are plenty of people that are gay, that are closeted. And, there's even an expression, closeted. They don't want people to know that they're gay, especially, in politics,
The hockey coach, he obviously became a hockey coach with a goal in mind, right?
Yeah.
Because he was coaching young kids.
Was it kids?
In this case, it was
in that case.
But pedophiles often try to put themselves around children for that purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's what their thing is. So I have one last question regarding this, and then we'll say goodbye. We could stay in the room and talk about it. But one last question that I have in regards to a generalization from your perspective alone, when you went into the courtroom situation, did you have any preconceived notions of what it was like, watching it on TV compared to how it really turned out to be in real life? Is television portrayal or movie portrayal of the courtroom anything at all like what it happens in real life?
Yes, I found some parallels, but I found it funny that one of the very first admonitions from the judge was, "This is real life. This is not like TV."
Probably everything happens a whole lot slower, right? Because
Well, yeah, that's number one. I mean, I remember we shot a bit for the MTV Video Music Awards one time, and it was a bit with Rel, right? And we spent 3 days on a lot, and the airtime on the MTV Video Music Awards was less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, too legit to quit. We spent 4 days.
Wait a second. You were there you were there at the what was it? It was in Pasadena. What was the name of the theater?
The Civic Auditorium.
That's right. I provided the sound system. That was where the guys pulled out the guns on Randy Faustino and said, "Get away, get away from the console." Yeah.
It took 3 or 4 days to do that. And in the 17-minute video, that shot was about 15 seconds long.
15 seconds. And they were spending so much money on that. They
God,
blew out
so
every
disgusting.
driver in the system. Every driver in that system. And they wanted the PA to go up on the sides and on the top. They want, we were using Marshall cabinets.
Wait a minute, who pulled guns on Randy Faustino?
What was that?
Who pulled guns on Randy Faustino?
His guys. They said they pulled guns on him and said, "Get away from the console," because Randy didn't want to turn it up. He didn't want to turn it up, and they wanted it really loud.
Really loud.
I mean, they were getting complaints from blocks away. The police were coming on a regular basis to tell them to turn it down.
We did the press room for the Vibe Awards one time, and the next year they had a shooting at the theater when the next year. Fortunately, we weren't there the next year. I was like, "Man, I don't want it. I don't want anything to do with that hip hop shit."
Unbelievable. Anyway, well, thank you for sharing the story. It was fascinating. I mean, hey, you're going to be a star. You're going to be a star when the shorts start popping up from the show. So congratulations, man. I want an autograph now.
I don't want to be a star.
So the first couple of years of the what are they? It's the Soul Awards there. What do they call them now? The
Soul Train.
No, not Soul Train. Not Soul Train. It was the
BET.
No, it wasn't BET. It was the. I'll think of it in a minute. There's a bunch.
All right, let's talk about that offline. But I will say that's amazing that you were at the Pacific.
We did it at Universal.
Yeah, it's amazing that you were there and I was there. And I mean, that was a long time ago. And I remember saying to myself, this guy is going to regret this one day that he spent so much money for a 5-second video clip when I saw it.
That was
online.
a pretty good video, though. It was okay.
I mean, I can't imagine how much money they spent totally on that.
NAACP. That was the initials I was looking for. The NAACP Awards.
Oh.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for watching. But boy, this was fascinating. More fascinating than I ever imagined. About
really.
and about
Thanks, Wayne,
about 30 minutes in, I'm saying, well, maybe I should just stop the clip now, But man, Wayne, you came through.
We started off slow and built up steam.
Yeah.
Back and what came through.
Yeah, and then we ended up talking about sound at the very end. Who could ask for anything more? What could I say? Hey, remember, you make it happen. Have a great week, everybody. Next week we'll be back. I can't believe 6 years in the making and we're still going strong. And I want to
Thank you,
thank
Jan.
everybody. So remember to give it a thumbs up. Remember to share it with a friend, and have a great week, everybody.